Alright, good morning. We're here with Archie, and today I'm going to be doing some groundwork training with Archie. Now, one of the reasons is because he doesn't move off pressure very well, and the other reason is because half of my arena's wet. So rather than giving him another day of not being worked, I thought we could just do some little groundwork, teaching him to yield off pressure. So that means I want to be able to flex his head and neck, yield the shoulders, and yield the hindquarters. Now, it's going to be easier to start with the hindquarters, because I've already had some concept of moving the hindquarters because A, I've done it under saddle, and because he does know how to leg yield and do a turn on the forehand. Now when I'm yielding the quarters, good boy, I want the inside hind leg closest to me, step forward and across and around. I don't want him stepping backwards. Now I've got the whip here as a backup only, so the whip can form an extension of my arm. I can use the end of the whip in his side if I need to. So far, whoa, I don't need to. So now I'm just going to move to the other side. I'm using a little bit of fingernail as well. And so I've just given him a little tap with the whip because he wouldn't move off my hand. Good boy. Whoop. So what I'm not asking him to do is walk around me and step the quarters around. I'm asking him to just step the quarters around. So be very precise with what you want. If I want him to walk around me and move the quarters up, I'll ask him to do that. But right now, I just want him to yield the quarters. So again, he's not going to step off my hand. I am going to give him a little touch with the whip. So just a touch like that. So remember that they can feel a fly on their flank. So he can absolutely feel a feather touch with the whip. It's just a little back up. And let's see if he does go backwards. And he does. Good. All right. Let's see if he'll move off the shoulder. So when you're riding, you're going to be able to control all three quadrants of the body. So that is the head and neck. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Phone was running out of memory. So now, as I was saying, when you're riding, you want to be able to control all three quadrants of the body. So that is the head and neck. I need to be able to flex him from the pole and be able to bend the neck. I need to be able to move the shoulders. Or else, how else can you ride shoulder in? Good. And I need to be able to move the hindquarters. As you can see, he's still not as hot off my hand as I'd like him to be. I know. Well, move, buddy, when I ask you. It's getting better. And I want to be able to move the shoulders. Woo. So I want to step the shoulders across. So I can follow this up with a ridden session when the arena gets dry enough to show you how to do it under saddle. But this is how I do it from the ground. It's literally just getting him to move off pressure. So I'm asking the head and neck to lead the way. I've got the bridle on him, so I have control of the head and neck, and I've got control of the mouth because I don't ride him with a halter. My goodness, my phone is hard work today. She's running out of memory. So as I was saying, don't ride him in a halter. I'm not going to do this training in a halter. So now that he is moving off pressure relatively well, I do have to keep this session fairly short because I have to get radiation. I'm then going to see if I can flex him from the ground. So it's easy to do this with the reins over his head. Make sure he's standing relatively square and straight. Now the reason for this is I want to be able to do it under saddle. So if his jaw's not soft here with me on the ground, and I can't flex this neck left and right from the ground, how am I going to do it under saddle? Back. Hopefully I have to lead it back, back, back. Now you see there he resisted. I'm not hitting him hard with the whip. I'm just giving him a little touch with the whip, but he needs to move off pressure. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on his mouth, and then I'm pressing on his chest, and he's just planting his feet and saying no. So now, as I was saying, if I can't flex the head and neck here, how am I going to do that under saddle? Now, remembering that this little guy has a history of bucking to the right. So part of the reason he can so successfully do that is because he can lock his neck. So once he gets his head between his knees, he locks his little neck down there. So it's not about his mouth per se, it's about his neck. So I need to supple that neck to make him softer and to stay softer so he doesn't lock his neck. So you can see he's starting to give to the contact, but his jaw's not moving around the bit yet, which is what I would actually like to happen. So that's going to be a work in progress. Or we experiment with a different bit. Boy. So then, actually having a contact, that's it. It's starting to relax a little bit now. I'm starting to get a little bit of mouth movement. I'm going to ask him with a contact. Step off. And ideally step forward and around. Now, so I've got my outside rein. Come on, up, up, don't argue with me. Come on. And I want him to step forward and around now. Good, good. Without arguing. Come on, forward. Good, 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 good. Let's do that on the other side now. Remember that there's things that you can do with training if it's too wet. Come on, off, off, off. I'm not even touching him with the whip now. I'm just showing it to him. No, this is all part of the suppling process. Suppling him laterally, making sure he moves off pressure so then he's easier to ride. Good man. Good. All right, let's see. Good boy. Stopping. Stopping. Remember when you're asking them to soften, you're asking them to flex from the pole. So flex. Not tuck their nose in, but to actually, thank you, good boy, to flex. Let's try this on the other side. Yeah, good. So now the mouth is starting to move around the bit. His jaw's relaxing. That's what I want to see. So then with that flex, good, good, good. Off, good, good man. See how he's starting to move around me, step away. I can now yield the shoulders and the hindquarters and flex him at the head and neck. Now let's see if he'll follow me. That's the next question. All right, I'm going to trust you a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. I'm going to try doing this without the reins. It could end in disaster. Not too worried. See if he'll cruise around with me. This means he's following my body language. We've got a little bit of a connection happening. And the idea is to carry through this connection to under saddle work. I don't use treats because I'm not going to treat him under saddle. I'm not going to be there riding him and give him a sugar cube or a piece of carrot under saddle. Good boy. So my reward is patting him. Good man. Come. You're looking for treats. Good. All right. So he's following me. Come for a walk. This makes it easier for their leg classes if you intend on doing in-hand showing, if they're following you and following your body language. I've given up the reins. I lost him? Yep. Because it does allow him to get further away from me if he wants. Come. Or to ignore me if he wants. Come. So then it's my job to re-engage him and get his attention. Come. Good. Come on. I haven't gone very far today because I still have neuropathy in my feet. I'm not that mobile. And I don't think I've got his attention that much either, is the other thing. So I think moving him into a larger area or cruising around the arena at this stage, I will lose his attention completely. So that's something to extend this exercise onto. But that's it for us today. I am on a time limit. As I said, I have to get to an appointment. And I think he's done enough. If it's dry enough this afternoon, we might do a little bit of light lunging in one corner of the arena. But if not, at least we've had some contact and interaction today, and it's been positive contact and positive interaction. And this is what we'll carry through into his under saddle work. And while we haven't done a lot, I am still developing a connection with him, which obviously also Courtney needs to do. But she's developing a connection with him in other ways, like actually running over jumps and stuff. So you can check that out on Courtney's social media, Cooper Equestrian, on Instagram, and see what she's been doing with him, because she has actually been doing groundwork in a different way with him, which is also fun. So if you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, Cooler Lunge. Thank you for watching.